Hey guys, it's Wyatt with Long Range Gear here, and we're working on a NP241 DHD, and I just wanted to bring up a comment here. Look at YouTube for Torque King 4x4's Gear Talk podcast. We have a discussion about NV4500s on there. We have a quick segment about retaining ring pliers and what's necessary when doing realistically a transfer case rebuild or NV4500 rebuild. These retaining rings here are pretty thick, kind of cumbersome depending on what you're working with. These Carlisle part store lock ring pliers are really, they don't cut it. They just don't work that well. Something that you can do at home, these Wild pliers, they're made in the US. You can get straight tip or these 90-degree tips. Let's see here. The straight tips are G407.NP. They work fantastic.
Can you hold them up?
Yes. Here's your straight tip. The 90-degree tips that also have the indent, these are G409.NP. They're available on Amazon, and they're basically like parts truck quality pliers. They're, like I said, made in the US. They work great. It's kind of nice having the straight tips as well as these 90-degree tips, depending on what you're working with. In the area you're working within said assembly, it can be nice to have a little mixture of both. Another thing that works really well, although they're quite a bit more expensive and a little bit more cumbersome to work with, are these Snap-on SRP 4s. And I believe these are the 14-inch lock ring plier or retaining ring pliers. They also have indents. It's kind of hard to see for grabbing those retaining rings, as well as a cross-hatched tip on them to lock on to whatever you're working with. I would highly recommend the Snap-ons as well as these Wilds. I've been using the Wilds for quite a bit. They're about 25 bucks a piece. Like I said, on Amazon, a couple days shipping, and you can rebuild your transfer case. You can rebuild an NV4500 and have no issues with them. So that's something that we highly recommend here at Long Range Gear. Do not stick with part store lock ring pliers. They will not work. You will have a very hard time, especially with the 4500s. You're putting some of the lock rings around bearing surfaces for the needle bearings. You don't want to scratch those. So it's really critical that you can get those around and dropped on without scratching said surface. So you need to pick something up that's a little bit better quality. So again, this is Wyatt with Long Range Gear. Follow us for more tips and tricks, and thank you guys.